Hey, Chad.
I guess we're on the air.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Selectmen get settled down over here.
Okay.
You're online.
I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight to the Budget Committee meeting. We're going to start right off with sexual assault. I think. No go.
Is it Joe? Couldn't quite understand it. Joe, Cub Scouts?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll go.
sexual assault.
Yes. What? Cub Scout?
Cub Scout? Okay, go ahead. Cub Scout.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Can everyone hear me?
Close it up.
All right, good evening. I just want to say thank you for your past support for Cub Scout Pack 349. Your contributions help us provide an excellent program for the boys in our community, and we truly appreciate it. Cub Scouting is more than just derby cars and crafts and adventures, but we do plenty of that. We focus on building confidence and leadership in a young age and a strong sense of community service. So the kids in our program go through adventures that teach responsibility. We are truly shaping the future leaders of Buxton. Cub Scouts also give back to the town in many ways. We organize service projects like food drives. We participate in Wreaths Across America every year, and we march as color guards in the annual parade. And these projects instill a lifelong commitment to service and pride in our community. Your continued support allows us to keep scouting accessible to the families of Buxton, helping cover registration fees for the kids, materials, and events. So on behalf of PAC 349 and the families involved, thank you for considering this request and for your ongoing investment for the young people of Buxton. Any questions?
Any questions of the young man?
I'm all set.
All set? Dave?
Keep up the good work.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
How many kids are in the,
Less than 30. We just had 5 cross over to the troop. So I think we're probably like 24-ish, somewhere in there.
thank you.
Tyler?
Yep.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, yep,
Selectman?
Thank you for what you do. Appreciate it.
yeah.
Seeing no more questions, we really thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Two.
Weymouth Park?
My name's Nick Pinkham. I'm with Weymouth Park. Weymouth Park is located at the intersection of Route 112 and 202. Most people know it as Torrey Hill. We have 2 fields there. One is baseball with the fence and lights. The other is we call it multi-use. The girls softball can use it. Boys baseball use it. It's just a dirt infield. We have a portable mound for the boys, and the girls play with no grass on the infield. So it's a multi-use field. We also have basketball hoop, basketball court, a tennis court. Last year, we finally got it resealed and relined. We had the tennis court lines put in, pickleball court lines put in, and also basketball court lines, 3-point lines put in as well. This year, the Dorcas Society is doing their Easter egg hunt in the field, in the big area, the big grass area. Girls lacrosse has been practicing over there before their season starts. It was dried out last week. They were over there doing some preseason practices. So it's a field and a park that gets used by lots of groups and lots of people. It seems the use continues to be steady and maybe even growing. So it's a treasure to the town, I believe, and thank you guys for giving us money to keep it going. The town mows it and they do a great job. They've been mowing, I think, for the last 2 years. I think they'll be doing it again this year. So they do a really good job keeping up with it and maintaining it. So we appreciate that as well. This year, my budget it's up I think $100 from last year, $4,975. And that just covers our insurance, CMP, some turf fertilizer, miscellaneous would be gravel for the parking lots, new flag, nets for the basketball court if we need it. We're putting in for porta potties, and that's it. So we keep a pretty slim budget on it, try to anyway. The Bunny Little League puts a lot of effort and money into those fields. I mean, they help us out a lot. They do a lot of work over there for us. It's a great partnership we have with the Little League. They really like the field, and they put a lot of money into it and do a lot of maintenance on it for us. So we appreciate that as well. That's about it.
Any questions on Weymouth Park?
How's the field holding up since it's been redone?
Great. We had it treated last year. Throughout the year, the irrigation was on. It looks good this year. There's some like slight winter kill, but nothing. It looks pretty good.
Grubs under control?
Yep, grubs are good right now. We have, so this year, Little League we're trying out a company called Sportsfield Inc. They're out of Winthrop area, and all they do is sports fields, and they're going to be treating the grass. I believe they come out like 3 times a year and edge it, and like spray for weeds in the infield, the dirt area. Because after the seasons get over, those fields, it's hard to keep them because we don't have the use on the fields. So you get a lot of infield, like the grass creeps into the infields, and by the time next year comes around, you have to redo all the fields. It's a real pain. So we're trying out this company and see how it works, and hopefully we can spread and work with the town on the other fields too as well, and try to keep them in a lot better shape for the following year. Because in the fall, in the summer, the fields really they get abused just because there's nobody on them. So the infields are just, like you go to Groveville, you go to the town farm park, out back the baseball field, you can't tell the difference between the outfield and the infield grass. The infield where it's supposed to be dirt it's all grass. So we're gonna try to do some stuff with that to try to keep these fields, a lot better, so that coming into the spring, the baseball and the softball leagues have a better field to start with. I know this isn't about Weymouth, but
What's the cost? Or you don't know yet?
we have a cost of what it's gonna be for the Weymouth Park, but I don't have it with me.
Okay,
I can get it for you.
that'd be great.
And it's really a trial run to see how it goes, and see what they do. But, I mean, I think it would be something we should look at as trustees of fields in town, to do all the fields in some sort of fashion, just to keep the infields in a better shape, because they're taking it hard right now. And we have in Little League, there's 450 kids from Buxton, Hollis, Leamington. Over 200 of those kids are from Buxton. So there's a lot of town kids playing on these fields. And fields are our biggest issue with all the kids and teams. There's 30 baseball teams and at least 10 softball teams, and the field use is the hardest thing. Just trying to find all fields for everyone to use during the week. So we gotta try to keep them up so that we can continue to use them.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Right? Good. Tyler?
All set, thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Quick question.
Yes.
Just for clarity, Nick. So I know that Crystal works a lot on getting porta potties. Do you order your own porta potties, or?
So, no, what we do is, because the Little League orders so many, they get some for Weymouth, and I just reimburse them. It's cheaper that way.
Okay, so the town is not providing the porta potties for
Oh,
you
Little
guys?
League does.
Okay.
Yeah, we keep 4. During the season, there's 4. When the spring season ends, we pull 2 of them out, and we leave 2 there, and I just reimburse Little League, because they have a deal with the porta potty companies. It's just cheaper that way.
Okay.
Any further questions? Seeing none, thanks for coming in, Nick. Planning board? Up next, the planning board.
evening. Are you ready?
Yep. We got ready.
Okay. My name's Scott Warshaw. I'm the treasurer for the planning board. Presenting the budget for you tonight. First page I have is salaries. Nothing's really changed other than the increase, salary increase this year.
Any questions on that salary?
No.
Carry on.
Okay, next item I have is the consultant fees and legal fees. It's $3,000. There's no change there over the years.
When do you normally spend those funds?
Well, that's a good question, Tyler. I think there's been some legal fees, but it comes out of the selectmen's budget, the town budget for council. Only been on the planning board for a few years. This will be my second year this time around, and I was like 5 years prior. We had some, I guess I wasn't aware of any council fees that was charged to the planning board budget.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone else can enlighten any more on the council fee.
Right now, what I'm seeing is that there's no money spent out of that
Yeah.
line item, so I think that it would get kind of complicated. I think if we start taking, legal fees, we're paying legal fees out of the select board's office, and I think we're a complete town. I don't know if that line item is really necessary, you know what I mean? That's just my thought, because whatever legal fee comes out, Patty's smiling, so is it necessary? I don't know. We've never.
It's only necessary if there was one case where the selectmen had legal representation and the planning board needed its own legal
Okay,
representation.
that's fine.
So it's there in case we need our own attorney,
Okay.
which is rare.
Yep.
Thank you.
I got a further question on that. So shouldn't that be a forward item every year if you don't use it? Why are we continually taxing $3,000 extra every year if we're not using it?
Well, so if we don't use it, it goes back into the general fund. And so, I mean, you've got a point. Is it, could we carry it forward every single year? We could. They're not using it. Going back in the general fund, it's kind of, same difference. But, I mean, if you want to make it a carry forward item, something we can discuss. What are your thoughts? You're the treasurer.
So I guess my thoughts would be is if the planning board is using the legal service of whoever our legal counsel is, I would think it should be charged to them anyway. I don't think it should be charged to the select boards. So if, for example, if the planning board needs legal, whether or not it's against the select board or not, whoever it's against, they should be charged to or coded to planning board. So I don't know why it's not happening. There's a disconnect there. Something I think I'll work with Patty, because I think we also budgeted money for the appeals board to have legal. And if we're gonna have different legal spots in different areas, we just need to make sure that it's being coded to whoever they're servicing.
Okay.
In regards to carry forward, I understand what you're saying, Mark, but if it's not being spent, carry it forward and then don't budget it
Again.
for the next year.
Right. If we are having our own attorney, 3,000 probably not going to cover it.
An hour.
That's, yeah, by the time we discuss scope and fee and have our first meeting, it's gone. Because we do use, when we do ordinance changes, the attorney does do review the ordinance change to make sure it's conforming
Just
legally.
can I add to that too, that at what point, right, when it's a planning board issue and then all of a sudden it becomes something a little bigger than that, at what point do you draw a line and say it's a selectman's issue now? That's where it could kind of get gray. At what point do you stop charging the planning board's line item and start charging the select board's line item? So I don't disagree with Bill. I guess we'll have more conversations and come up with a plan before the end of the budget season.
But I would agree with you, Luke, that if it is something that's continually moving forward, I'd rather see it carry forward than just taxing and overtaxing people and just going into undesignated fund. That's,
Is that Dave?
good conversation. Supplies, $100. Shoreland zone maps, there is nothing in here. We aren't doing anything with the shoreland zone maps.
So I got a question on that one.
Yep.
So we're showing there's $1,000 sitting there. Is that gonna be used this year, or?
No, there's nothing in that line item. That's the next line item, which is mapping.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep, and the next line item is mapping, $1,000 for that. I just believe part of this goes to some of the other maps that we do in town here. Tax maps.
Tax map. That's already spent. Already spent it. Yep.
Legal notices, line item for $1,000. We have this in here for $1,000. Our legal notices, when applicants have a public hearing, they actually pay for they reimburse the town for the legal notice. Training and workshops, $250. I think we're doing a little more training now. We had a bunch of new members last year too. We did MMA training and we did some FOA training. We are saving a little money there by doing like a Zoom call. So therefore we pay for one application fee and the rest sit in and watch. Otherwise, it's $50 a person. And last item I have is the capital item of $20,000. This is for the comprehensive plan update. The town of Buxton has a comprehensive plan that was approved in 2003. It's since expired. Comp plans are only good for 12 years. I know it's been tried over the years to update the plan, and life events get in the way, and so the current planning board, we'd like to review the comprehensive plan, get it consistent with our zoning ordinances. Why that's important: if your comp plan and ordinances are not consistent, then the town is open to a developer or somebody coming in and doing something what the ordinance does not allow. For example, someone can come in and do a subdivision in a rural zone. It's a 5-acre minimum lot size per building. They may come in and want to do 1-acre lots. And the board would, obviously, we would say no because it's not allowed in a rural zone. They could potentially go to court, take the town to court and say, we're not consistent with it, et cetera, et cetera. Who knows where that would come in? I don't think it's happened all that often. There was a case in Scarborough where something similar happened. The town stayed out of court because they worked with a developer. But we are looking at this as we want to try to maintain our openness, if you will, our rural character, maintaining our 5-acre lots and 3-acre lots. And it's a way of helping us to protect against that. To do a comprehensive plan is actually pretty time-consuming. Majority of communities, well, I shouldn't say majority, well, actually, majority of the communities have some pretty good they have planners, they have a lot of committees, they have a lot of volunteerism in their communities. Buxton, for some reason, we don't seem to have that many volunteers, as we all know. So we're really looking to get some help from, guidance from facilitators to help guide us through the process. I spent close to 44 minutes the other day with a state planner. I think it's something that we could do without it, but we want to have some money in here because there'll become a time where we need to do some printing, some Word documents, and things like that, that we want to have some money to be able to print the document. So that's why that's in there. I don't know if I explained that well enough for you gentlemen, why we want to do it.
Got a quick question.
Yep.
So like when it starts, from start to finish, how long will this process take?
Well, we met with Southern Maine Planning Committee a couple of weeks ago, and I had asked if we got this proving for here, started in the fall. See, this is 25, 26. Could we have something by the fall of 27? And he said, yes. I said, well, what about spring? Because I'd rather have something in the spring. And starting to get some pushback. So it is a kind of a timely process. You want to have, a comp plan is our plan for the community for the next 10, 12, 15 years. You really should have involvement, public involvement, a couple of meetings with the public. You need time for folks to have their breakout subcommittees to explore things. Talking with the state planner, there is they are doing it a little different now. They have like this checklist. It's about, I think there's like 80 things in there you got to check off. It's still time consuming. We're gonna need some volunteers to go through it. We need to get, or should get, input of what people want their community to look like. I know the majority of people I've talked to would like to keep it the way it is. I am as well, but just a few.
Any question, Luke?
Not for the moment.
Dave?
I do. Why now, if it's only good for 12 years, and we're way past the year 2015?
Yep. Good question. I don't know. The board has changed, the planning board has changed.
What's your vision of the town in the near, or the long-range future, 10, 20 years out?
My vision for, I'd like to see it pretty much the way it is. I would like to see a little more commercial. We need some more commercial to keep up with taxes. I mean, Buxton is a bedroom community. We're surrounded by high-paying communities, Standish, Gorham, Scarborough. They all have money, and we're trying to keep up with the Joneses for our school teachers, our police officers, our firefighters. We can't compete, so we have to raise our wages. We'll never compete with wages for those communities, I don't think. You know, Standish has a lot of waterfront. That's a pretty rich community.
Shouldn't we be putting together a committee first to have some discussions before we appropriate money?
That's part of the process. Once you get into, once we move forward with a plan, a comprehensive plan, yes, we need to develop a comprehensive review committee.
What's wrong with the comprehensive plan right now, besides it being out of date?
Maybe nothing. But you need a committee to review it. I could sit here and
So
review
don't
it.
you think
I
there-
could sit here and review it, but it'd just be Scott Warshall's opinion.
But don't you think there should be a committee first before we're looking at appropriating $20,000?
No.
Why?
What are you gonna do with it? If now that committee, because back in, was it 2017, 2018, a group tried to review the comp plan and then COVID hit. it's a moving train. I think it's hard to get people moving forward, get excited about something, and if you then got to stop and wait to get it all moving again, I don't think it's going to
Again,
work.
I ask, why now? Why all of a sudden is it coming out of the clear blue? I've been sitting on this committee for 5 years and haven't heard boo about it.
Yep. Again, the board's changed, the planning board's changed. We have a new chair. There's several new members on the board. Housing development pressure is coming. We're seeing it. The last 2 subdivisions that we approved, look at Facebook. Everyone's all excited. Here we go, growing in, growing in. Now, comp plan doesn't necessarily it doesn't prevent growth. It kind of helps you guide the community. Where do you want to have the growth? Where's a good place for it to be?
But once it's put in, it's set for 10 to 20 years. You can't change it.
You can.
How?
So by a town charter directs the planning board every 5 years is supposed to review the charter. I don't know when that's ever happened. I've been in town, close to 2 decades now, and I'm not aware of it being reviewed. It could have. I like to think I'm fairly intelligent what's going on in town. As everyone here knows, I poke around and ask a lot of questions and see things. We don't have to do anything, but it does open the town up for
Can this hinder the town?
the comp plan.
Yep. And how the town operates or with its zoning?
No, it's all what the people want to have it to be. If the majority of people want to keep that zoning map right there behind you the same as it is, it's probably what's going to happen.
But
We get to decide.
we have to spend $20,000 to keep it the same?
I don't know if
I
it's
don't
going to
think
cost, to have a consultant come in is a lot more money than that. We had, when I sat with the Southern Maine Planning, they just did some plans for a couple towns. They were $60,000 over the 2 years. So if we can get volunteers, someone that can do typing and do some Word document stuff. Talking with the state of Maine planner, all the demographics that we need, we can get from them for free. They've already asked, someone had asked a while ago for the demographics for Buxton. It takes 8 months. So someone had already asked for them a while ago. So they expect to have them in April. I found online, actually today, our ratings for our bridges for the state. You really don't want to see those. We'll have to have a couple of meetings, or at least one meeting. We need to show where we had some public input. It doesn't say a minimum number of meetings or how. We just need to be able to check in that box and say that we had public participation.
So right now, there's real no urgency to have this done. Is that correct?
Well, it's going to take a while.
I understand
It's
that.
going to take a year and a half.
But if there's no urgency, in my opinion, I think the cart is being put before the horse, asking for the 20,000 before we have some type of committee put together that includes some people or someone from selectmen and having some town resident input.
Right.
That's my opinion. And I think if we're not doing it that way, then I don't recommend the money.
So if we went that way and we were able to get it by spring of next year, and we were ready to print, what do we do then? Or if we're not completed, it's hard to get people to volunteer. And I'm going to say this, I'll be hard for me to volunteer, spend all this time, a lot of time, and if there's going to be no commitment from the town. So, I don't know. I don't think putting it before we're putting that cart before the horse on this, Dave.
So what do you guys think?
I kind of agree with Dave, but you got more questions?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. So can you explain more in depth what the $20,000 is going to be used for? Because you said documentation and printing.
Yeah, again, we wanted to, the budget request would have been, we met with the selectmen over it, and they weren't there for the $60,000 for the 2-year, to have actually somebody, a consultant, somebody to run the meetings, the meeting minutes, print up this document, and provide a document for the community.
But if we're gonna keep it the same, if we're gonna look at it and keep it the same, what is this money being used for?
So we put a number together, the select board and the planning board, we had a meeting, and we came up with that number, and we're gonna, if we don't use it, we don't use it, it goes into undesignated funds. It's, but again, if the momentum, if we're doing something, momentum's there, why do you want to stop and then come back again later?
I'm just asking
Yeah.
what the money is gonna be spent on. Again, if we're keeping it the same, what is it being spent on? I still don't have an answer to that question.
Because it's technically expired.
Correct, it's expired, but who's going to print the new document, type it up, insert the new charts, the new demographics? Hopefully, we can get all volunteers to do that.
Get a mic there.
Number one, if the selectmen did not come up with that $20,000 figure, that was tossed out by you, or the planning board, I should say, as part of that. We did not come up with that number. And the other thing too is, for consultants, printing bids, we really should see printing bids, to see what it's actually gonna cost. I think we would start going down the slippery slope, we just go grab, I think it's gonna cost $20,000 to do this, when it may not, and we don't even know if it's gonna be volunteers. I don't think we've ever asked yet if there's volunteers being willing to do this, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have a draft scope and fee already that I had completed 4 weeks ago. We were supposed to have a meeting with Southern Maine Planning, so I can kind of get some costs, so we could send a scope and fee out to consultants, so I can get pricing for the budget season. It happened to snow that day, a little bit, wasn't a whole lot, but they canceled the meeting, and it wasn't until 2 weeks ago that we finally got another meeting with them. So we really didn't have a whole lot of time, but, yeah, we would be putting out a scope and fee for printing, if that's, again, where we go, but,
And I know the town report, I think we only figure in about how much money for the town report, and it's this thick,
I think it's like 8K?
8K, so that's for a full town report, so a minor, I mean, there's no way that
Right.
we're even close to,
well, if you want to send out mailings to the town, again, we need to do some public input. We could just do simple as, I guess, as putting a couple notices on a stores here and there to cover it, but.
so when did you decide to put this in your budget? Because I learned of this last week that this was being added in.
Just a couple of weeks ago, because like I said, the whole thing got pushed off from that snowstorm, and the planning board was just talking about this, probably a couple of months ago. So,
Can I try to answer, Lou?
Not at the moment.
I know it's not one of those things that it's really tangible to put your hand on or look to see. It's not a vehicle, it's not a building, it's something that, it's a document. It's not that sexy to, exciting to read. I've been through it a few times, and yeah, it's not that fun to read, and it's hard to grasp, I guess, but long, short of it is, it needs to be updated, and
So can you explain what needs to be updated in it? Because you keep saying you want it to be the same. You want the things to be the same. What needs to be updated then besides just renewing it in itself? Like,
so
what's
the
process to that?
demographics need to be updated, what the current demographics of the town are. You need to have public input. We need to have some public input. And, because it all goes to the state, the main state, the state planner, and they review it. And once everything that's in the checklist, and they okay it, then it becomes consistent.
So what part of that costs money? I want like specific things. If we're gonna allocate $20,000, we gotta know specific things.
I hear you. You know, our timeline got busted from a couple of meetings, and
Then do you feel it's appropriate to put it in this year if you can't even give actual figures? Like, where did you get this number from if you have no numbers of what it's gonna cost? I feel like you're coming very unprepared to this tonight.
so, yeah, we didn't have time to go out and get bids. Again, we don't know what, some of the meetings, you should probably have a facilitator, someone who's neutral to the community. We may find, once we get into these meetings, we may want a facilitator who's neutral to help guide us through the vision of the town.
So you're saying you don't really know what you're gonna spend the $20,000 on? It's gonna be whatever we want when we get there?
Sure, we could go and say, request the $60,000 and go for the full boat. We're trying not to do that. So
Yeah, so
tried
I'm
to
just
put
trying
a
to figure
number.
out where you came up with this figure in general.
Yeah.
Because you don't have, I don't have things that it's gonna be spent on, and you can't even explain it sitting here. It just feels very unprepared, and I don't know, is this gonna end up costing way more than that in the end? Are you gonna come back next year and ask for the next $40,000? It's a big question to ask.
Yeah, you're right. I can't tell you what the cost is, because this came up and our timeline got,
So you feel it's
Okay.
appropriate then to ask this year, even though you don't know what it's actually gonna cost?
Do you know how much it cost last time?
no. There's no one around.
Yeah, I mean, I know it was like 14, 15 years ago.
That was
but-
25 years ago.
No, I'm just curious.
So the planning board,
Maybe more homework needs to be done before we,
so we could sit and
Discussion on
we could
this.
sit and do nothing, and
no, I didn't say that.
as the year goes by, we're sitting here telling you the town is unprotected, and
Unprotected from what?
Yeah, can you explain that more in depth, please?
Okay, well,
well, I don't,
if that's the case, we've been unprotected since 2015.
correct?
What's happened?
Correct. So is building, I mean, the scenario could be, is building costs going up in other communities? They're gonna see a shrewd developer could potentially realize they have a non-consistent zone, and they wanna come in and do something. It may not ever happen, but we wanna try to do something to help prevent it.
I think there's more homework that needs to be done before you ask for the money.
Okay,
You have a question?
That's just my opinion.
yeah.
Because I remember when this came up about 20 years ago, too. The same thing on dividing up, but nothing's ever been done even after that part? Well, you got nothing, right?
So if I could just have a minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
So in 2017, there was a comprehensive plan committee that was established, and I was a part of that committee. There was a 5-member board. It was myself, it was Henry Huntley, Cliff Thomas, Gail Cunningham, and Jerry Ross. And then there was an additional 10 or 15 other volunteers that came in.
Yep.
And we did a study of the current comprehensive plan that was done in 2003. And we didn't go out and ask the public for input as far as what they're looking for, things of that nature. Within the group that was there, was probably 15, 20 of us in total. We felt that the comprehensive plan was in line what we felt the community at that time wanted. And so we felt to spend the money needed to go out there and do a survey of our community wouldn't be money well spent. And so we just felt that the comprehensive plan was inaccurate with what the community wanted at the time, that group of people. Having said that, now, so we did a full, it was 2 years long, and that's how long it took to do that study amongst ourselves. And when we came to the realization that the comprehensive plan was in line with what we felt the community wanted, right, we ended up by putting that to bed, but we never brought it to the voters. And that's what needs to happen. You need to bring it to the voters to say, okay, this is what is approved. Having said that, if I look at the comprehensive plan now, I feel in general, and I haven't done a study of the community, but I speak to you guys, I speak to the board, I speak to whoever I can, and I try to get a general consensus of what the community wants, right? As you're a selectman, that's what I try to address my decisions on. And I feel that the comprehensive plan is in line with what the community wants from what the people I speak to currently. The only difference in there, would be demographics, population, things of that have changed, right? So we need to kind of probably update those figures. At the time when we did our study, again, we didn't send mailers out and things of that nature. It cost us nothing to basically look over the comprehensive plan. Scott is right, there's not a lot of volunteerism. I look at this $20,000 though as the beginning stages to a $60,000 implication, because at the end of the day, if you're going to start hiring Southern Maine Planning, they're going to change things, and I think that this number is going to grow from the 20,000. That's just my opinion. But having said that, my fear factor is that, you can make any study say what you want if you just ask the right questions. So that is a fear factor. I know that the state of Maine, today I just had a meeting where we're creating a whole new agency within the State Department called MOCA, Maine Office of Community Affairs, and their desire is to direct growth, wherever they can direct growth. And they're going to use that through comprehensive plan because we are a home rule state. And so LD 2003 came about, which we made changes, but most of our ordinances followed LD 2003. We had to make some changes, but not a whole lot. A lot of communities that didn't allow these changes had to make big changes, and so the state wasn't challenged on that. Having said that, for me, my personal opinion is that if we go down a road that we're starting to hire outside organizations, I think that we could see ourselves with a community that could potentially look a lot different than what we have now. So I guess the question we have to ask ourselves is, do we want the community to look differently, take that chance, or not? Now, having said that, the comprehensive plan being not up to date, is that some legalities there potentially for the town? I mean, look, people can sue me for the way I look, right? So, I mean, anything is possible. I don't know that we're necessarily way off base rather than the time frame of where it's at. It's 2003. I think we could update the statistics and keep it somewhat the same and be in line with state statute. That's my personal opinion. I don't know if that's true because I haven't really, they've changed the comprehensive plan in the state last year in the Housing Committee, which I didn't approve because of the things they were looking to acquire in there. But to say that, the town of Buxton, our mill rate is pretty low compared to other communities. Would commercial industry help? Yes, of course. But I think that, the growth of housing all around is happening all around us, and people are telling it's going to come here. And I've come to the realization it'll only come here if, one, we change our zoning requirements and reduce our zoning size, or two, everybody decides to sell their land. As long as those two things don't happen, the growth will only happen as fast as what our zoning allows and as fast as people are willing to sell their land. And so to say that we're going to have a mass development in our community is possible, probably unlikely. I think if we start playing with our comprehensive plan, the chances it opens us up to something like that. Is that what the community wants? I don't know. I haven't had a survey done. That's what Scott's trying to achieve here. Have a survey done of the community to see what they want. My fear factor is that if you ask the right questions, they may come back and say, we want housing and we want affordable housing, because that's the general consensus of the people in the state of Maine. But at the end of the day, it costs you $400,000 to build a 3-bedroom ranch, and there's no slice and dicing that to make that affordable. It's $400,000 and you can't build it any cheaper. So that's, my 2 cents worth. Do I believe in this 20,000? No. Should we allocate a little bit of money to update our statistics and things of that nature? I say that we have 2,200 in the comprehensive plan now. We could do that and come in line with the state. That's my opinion. Is it right? I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just come back. I mean, we aren't necessarily looking to hire a consultant to do that. Everyone on board is not looking to change. And I don't think I said tonight, if I did, that's not what I referred to. We just need to do a public input. And it could just be meetings. We don't have to send out, we're not required to send out notices. We just need to have a public participation. It could be a couple meetings in this building.
Then I agree with that, Scott, but then we don't need $20,000 to do that, technically, is what I'm saying, right? If we want to spend a few $1,000s and get the statistics cleaned up, we do couple public hearings, that doesn't cost us anything. Hire, take one of the staff members, maybe to type up what do we have, and we're good to go. So that's,
Well, Mark, we would be there if you had offered that during the meeting we had. We alluded to that, and we just got blank looks back. I do apologize for not having backup for anything. It just came up short notice, but if, I know I talked to the treasurer that how do we come up with a budget? It'd be great if we could have somebody here do some things. That would be great if we can have, or even a volunteer in town to type up, somebody here. We just feel that we need to get this up to date. I don't think it's going to take a whole lot of work to do it. I was looking at some past mailing surveys today that was done in 2012. Yeah, it's the same thing. Keep our open space, keep our rural character. I haven't heard anything different. I haven't heard people want housing. I just know every time we approve a subdivision, there is, everyone's against it. And so we need to do something to try to maintain.
But on the flip side to that, Scott, too, though, I know that people are against it because they're looking at this big open field, right, and they want to keep it that way. The problem is that the farmer that owned that field for all those years, right, that's his 401k.
They have the right
We
to
can't
do
stop
that.
him from developing it, right? And so, look, we've been through a major housing boom here in the last 10 years, right? And although we've had some progression in the town of Buxton overall, it's been sustainable, right? It hasn't been unmanageable in the sense that it's blowing us over, like Gorham, like Scarborough, like all the other communities around us. And so there's something we're doing, and in my opinion, that we're doing right? Because even Standish now, I'm seeing that they're going to be building 500 units. And so everybody's in the line of housing. Having said that, when you so there's a difference between coming up with a whole new comprehensive plan and typing it all up compared to, hiring, taking one of our staff members here to type up the new, statistics. That's two different animals. So what I'm talking about when we, because they don't have that much free time, but if we had somebody to just update some of the statistics, that's not an overload, right? But when we're saying, oh no, we're going to redo the whole comprehensive plan and have somebody type it all out, that's a different animal, right? So I'm not there. I'm just, if we want to just update our statistics, have town public hearings saying, what you guys approve of this, that's my, how I'm looking at this. And so if you're looking at it differently, then that's different, right? So the way I'm looking at it is just that, just bringing up some statistics, public hearings, make sure everybody's okay with it. That's how I'm seeing updating our comprehensive plan. If you have a different vision, you're on the planning board, you're entitled to that. So I just don't want to get the two conflated and saying that's what I said, right? I'm just saying updating some numbers and putting staff member to do that and then having a public hearing. That's what I mean by an updated comprehensive plan. If we want to do a survey, we want to get, we want to hire a separate company. First of all, if you want to do that, $20,000 is not enough money. in my opinion, because once you're in it, you're in it. You're right, you can't turn back. And so the 20,000 is the down payment to a $60,000, $70,000 ordeal.
Correct. When we first started talking about it, that's where we thought we had to go. Like I said, I spent close to 44 minutes with a state planner. That's not the way we need to go. There is a simpler way of doing it. And we talked, it was probably on, well, actually, last week's meeting wasn't televised, unfortunately. We talked about at the planning board meeting, that would be great if we had staff to do this. We just want to get this inconsistency deal closed.
So
My original thought process on this, why it'd be consistent, was it could, I don't know how great or slim, could give the town possibly an edge to say no to some of these rulings that come down from Augusta that's forcing us to do things that we don't want to. So if, right off the bat, if we aren't consistent, that's the first thing they're gonna say and look at, possibly. When I talked to the planner, he's like, yeah, but it's probably more likely it's developers that, once they figure it out, that you'll have to deal with. That's kind of frankly scared me a little bit.
So I want to know I'm assuming you're speaking for the planning board when you're, and so my question is the vision of the planning board to just update the statistics and, have it retyped and keep the rest of the comprehensive plan in place? Or is the direction of the planning board wanting to do a whole new study within the community and, basically update our comprehensive plan by a whole new study, changing everything? So what's the direction of the planning board?
So our discussion was we want to just update it. But however, it came out that if you have this public hearing, or this one public meeting, or two, whatever you want to have, we need to have at least one. And everyone's like, no, that's not where we want to go. I don't see that happening, quite frankly, in this community.
So I just wanted clarity, what you guys are looking for. You're looking to hire or somehow get a full new comprehensive plan restudied?
No.
No.
No. We're just looking to update it.
So with updating the statistics, typing that out, having a planning board, a public hearing, is that what you're talking about then?
Yes.
That's it?
Yes.
What?
Because you
Is
have
it fair to say
but
that?
you still have to go through this there are things in here that's got to be culled out.
Right, but
And it should be-
I don't see 20 grand in there, that's all. I just don't see 20 grand to do that.
I know. Again, I apologize for not having it because it was such short notice and timing just didn't work out for us.
You're an engineer. You do numbers. What's realistic?
Numbers are crazy out there now.
All right. We'll look at it some more, I guess.
I just feel that a lot of these conversations should be had ahead of time before you bring it to our committee here to ask for this money. When you're saying the cost of these things are big, we need to know what specifically you're spending money on ahead of time.
Fair enough.
Any further questions?
That's it. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for being on this board. I was on it for a number of years. It's always fun.
Okay, yep, next, Boy Scouts? Boy Scout. Yeah, Boy Scouts. Sorry we kept you here so long, but. Maybe it'll help educate some of the boys.
Need volunteers.
Yeah, we need volunteers.
Yeah. Thank you, gentlemen, for seeing us again this year. We appreciate the help that you guys give us every year, and it does mean a lot to our troop. This year, Troop 349 is requesting $1,800. This is the same as we did last year and I believe the year before. Even though our costs are increasing like everything else. For instance, our National Boy Scout registration fees and Pine Tree Council fees increased to $160 from like $85 this year. So with your help, and along with our fundraising, we're able to cover half that cost for our members. Our troop this year went from 13 to 18. We gained 5 more over this past Weeblo crossover, so that's exciting for us. We have 5 new kids, 5 new scouts in the troop. They have their patrol, their own leader right now, and they're really energetic about learning our scout ways. We have increased our overall fundraising. Again, this year, we have an ongoing partnership with Peaks Island, where a lot of people set aside their returnables, bottles and cans, and myself and friends on the island remove those every few weeks to a recycling center in Portland, and then they send us a check for our money. That's been a great help this year and last year. In turn, we go back and to Peaks Island. We try to go back once or twice a year, do a little service work around the island. Last year, they had a winter storm that just wrecked their shoreline. We went and filled a huge dump truck full of tar, ripped up road work, debris that the Department of Public Works on Peaks Island just didn't have a chance to take care of yet. So the islanders were super appreciative of us doing that for them. We also, I'll let my senior patrol leader talk about some of our service work we do here. But we are, again, using your money, the town's donation to us or budget to us will certainly offset our costs for registration fees this year. This is Matthew Poitras. He's our senior patrol leader this year. This is his second term. No, we just got elected for his third.
Oh,
yeah, the other night. He's been doing a great job.
So Troop 349 had a very active year this past year. We participated in a Klondike Derby, demonstrating a variety of scouting skills, from fire building to first aid to team problem solving during the day-long challenge. The troop's teamwork and efforts led to a first and third place award for best sled and overall competition. Our April High adventure trip was at the West Point Scoutmasters Camporee. In July, the troop attended a week-long summer camp at Camp Roosevelt in the Katahdin district. Community service is required for every scout rank from tenderfoot to eagle. This year's scout service projects in the community included assisting our sponsor, Buxton Center Baptist Church, and Buxton Historical Society Eldon Store with seasonal cleanup and mulching memorial trees. Memorial Day flag placement at cemeteries, laying wreaths for Wreaths Across America, parking cars for the Dorcas Cars and Coffee event, service projects doing cleanup and maintenance at Pleasant Point Park, and a day of service on Peaks Island, assisting in storm damage cleanup. Service projects teach the Scouts citizenship, teamwork, and leadership while improving the community. In addition to community service projects, we continue to work closely with the Cub Scout Pack, the Buxton Hollis Historical Society, Dorcas Society, Ancient Cemeteries of Buxton, Wreaths Across America, Buxton Food Pantry, Honor Flight Maine, and others. We will continue to serve the community and welcome suggestions from town officers and non-profit community organizations.
If we have any questions, we'd be glad to answer.
Any questions?
All set.
All set? Okay. Dave?
Oh, you guys do a great job.
Yeah.
Thank you. We
Great
have
job.
a great group of guys and parents. I can't say enough about the parents. We have 14 active adults in our troop. And we couldn't do it without them. It's really great getting together as a family organization as well as the Scouts. We have a great group.
How many going into Eagles?
How many what?
How many are gonna be going into Eagles?
This year, we have one Eagle coming right up. He will hopefully has his board of review coming up. Then this year, we possibly could have 2 more projects started this year. Whether or not they get completed this year, I don't know. Our projects are tending to be a little more comprehensive than some Eagle projects. They can be smaller in nature, and they can be big. Lately, we've been doing some really big projects, and it takes a lot of time. In addition to Scouts of America are adding additional required merit badges for the Eagle rank. So that's it was, and they require it, but they didn't have training for it. So now that's all worked out. We're getting that done and getting Scouts through that too. So this year we should have 1 completed with possibly 2 more started.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
These were no show.
Cub Scouts?
Sexual assault.
No, no show. Up next is code. We got it tonight.
Good evening. I will go over the total budget and all the breakdown. So the total budget request for this year is $208,543, which is 17% reduced from last year. Salaries is, the request is $202,893, which includes the 3% increase that is across the board. We took out the $30,000 for the electric inspector because we're paying him out of the fees that we collect, which I have a breakdown for you if you would like to see that. And the other difference is I'm asking to raise $5,000 for a part-time on-call building maintenance coverage person. Because as it is now, the building maintenance person doesn't have coverage when he goes on vacation or takes a day off. And I'm hoping to be able to fill that need with, and $5,000 would be if we had someone in here 40 hours a week for his vacation, which we really don't need. So that's maximum request, but I don't think we will need someone here 5 days a week, 8 hours a day.
Before you move forward, can I ask a question on that out of clarity? So I know that we're paying the electrical inspector, he pays, you know, the person building pays a fee. That money is getting used to pay for the electrical inspector,
Correct.
right? How is that working? Because basically that money is being paid for by the town, and then the townspeople have to allocate that money to pay the building inspector.
No.
No?
So we collect a fee.
Yeah?
We pay that person a percentage of that fee, not 100%, from that account directly. So
Correct.
we're not raising money to pay him. We're taking the fees from the permits,
Right?
putting them in an account, and we pay that person from that same account.
Okay, is that accurate? I'm just wondering if we need town approval to pay people out of that account. Will we need a town vote to spend, because it's town's money? I've just got clarity, that's all.
Well, technically, it's not town's money. It's actually fees that are coming in from a service that's provided, and then a portion of that fees goes into the town revenue, and a portion goes into a holding account, which then is used to pay the electrical inspector.
Okay.
Where are we at? Supplies. Supplies stayed the same as last year at 1,000. A lot of times we don't spend that. This year we're spending it because we have a code. The state adopted a new building code, so we had to buy new code books, and that's Right now, it's up to $750, so I think I have all the code books, but that eats up my supply budget for this year. Hopefully, we don't have a code change next year, because they usually do it, we're at the 2015 code right now, and they adopted the 2021 code, so it's like a 5-year process. Gas, oil, and filters. We asked for $1,200 last year, we're asking for the same this year. We actually acquired a new vehicle this year, with the van from the fire department to use it for building maintenance, so now we have 2 vehicles. Vehicle maintenance, we asked for $900 last year, we're asking for $900 this year. We haven't had to use any of that on the new code car. We may have to use it on the van. It's older, so hopefully we don't, but. Cell phones, last year I asked for $1,200. This year I'm asking for $600. I thought with a deputy code person, he would want a town-provided phone, but he doesn't. So I'm knocking that back down to $600. Dues and subscriptions, last year was $300. I'm asking for the same this year. It's for the main building officials, dues that we belong to, and the International Code Council. The dues for main building officials is $45 times 2. International Code Council is $160 per year. Contracted services, we added this last year for replacement of septic systems or demolition of buildings. If we had to go through that process, we would have money to do the work, and those people would have to reimburse the town. We haven't had to use that this year, so I believe we're asking to carry that forward. Miscellaneous, we have had 150, and we're asking for 150. Training and workshops, last year we asked for 1,500, and we're asking for the same this year. And I can tell you, we've collected, in 7 months, we've taken in $14,888 in electric permit fees, and we have paid out $13,173.
All set.
No questions.
Thank you, Patty.
Patty, did you say that was the van from the fire department?
Yep.
Now, we had a gentleman in there told us that was not worthy for the road.
It's been fixed. We replaced the muffler. It had a nest inside where the spark plugs go. I don't know those.
Yeah.
But, so it's running and we're using it. And we're happy to use it.
So can I ask Patty some questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Patty, do you have an idea of what we've collected in fees over the last year on building permit fees?
I did calculate from January 1st.
Of
I
this
think I
year?
brought in I think my dates are wrong. This year, we've collected $114,025.
From January 1st of this year or from?
Yeah,
no,
last
July?
January to this
Past year?
December. January to December.
Of last year?
Yes,
And how much, I'm sorry, I lost.
$114,025.
Okay, and I know that, do we need to restructure our permit fees? I know you've looked at them. Are you in line, you think, with other communities?
We restructured them when I first came here to become more in line with other
Yeah.
communities. we probably could make some minor adjustments, like a commercial sign, we charge $20. Other towns charge way more than that, way more than, way.
Okay.
There's a few things we could increase, but as
Just
far
wondering
as,
if we're in line, you know, it is what it is, but I'm just wondering if, you know, if you've done the research and we're in line close enough, I'm okay with that. Just want to make sure that within the ballpark.
yep.
Any further questions for Patty? Seeing none, thank you very much, Patty, for coming in.
Thank you.
The selectmen got anything? No?
Are you guys scheduling for workshops? We're almost, we're getting, I don't know where we're at in the cycle here.
Next week, we're gonna take up, transfer John's. I think you're seeing John tomorrow night.
Yeah, so the plan is tomorrow, the select board sees the last department. Police is kind of still outstanding, but with the union negotiations still outstanding. My plan is, next week I will have a sheet for the select board and the planning, and the budget board. I will have listed every single proposal that was, brought forward to you, so you'll have a total bottom line budget.
Increase.
Thank you.
Well, it'll show the increase, but yes, it'll be the total bottom line, yes.
That's the plan for right now anyway, but I can up to transfer tomorrow, next week. And John's and the cemetery, at 670 is the cemetery.
So I think what Mark asked is the week after that, are you guys planning a workshop?
I would assume if we don't have PD.
Yeah, good point, good point. They don't have the PD yet.
Okay, thank you.
If we have the police department, we'll probably do the police department first.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Attending the meeting tonight. This will conclude the budget committee meeting. We'll all see you later.